I love our theme song.
Yeah, I know. I love dancing. You know, I was almost starting the show with my glasses on, which it lets me see everything a little bit better, but I'm so vain, I'm taking them off again. So there we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I'm Tym Moss.
And we're so happy to have you here with us today because you know what? It's really been a hell of a week.
Yeah. Let me start with a fun thing.
Yes.
Last Sunday, I went out to Billy Hess and Mark Diawas, who does my hair, up in Yonkers for Billy's birthday, and we had a ball. Ike Avelli was with me, and we just had a ball. It was so great to see them. Lots of laughs, lots of
what did
good
Billy
food.
Make to eat?
Billy made everything.
It's quite the chef.
Chicken marsala and shrimp and these crab and oh my God, just everything. I hadn't eaten like that in a long time.
Love it. Well, and Billy is an amazing photographer, and his partner Mark DeAwas, of course, is like the hairdresser to go to. So really, really great guys. Okay, Tim started with something happy. I have to bring reality to this situation. I got to get this out.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, I want to share this with my audience. It's tough, but my husband, Alan, who used to do the lighting for the show, many of you know, he passed on this week. So this is going to be a very funny show. We have an amazing guest. I'm not telling you who it is yet, but I'm so happy that she's going to be with us. So I just want you to sit back and enjoy the show. We're dedicating it to Alan Kaplan today.
Yep.
And, you know, everyone who knows me, life goes on. Last night, we were all at Julius Bar.
Yep.
We raised a glass to Alan. Okay, we raised more than one glass. We raised like 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, and we raised a little hell too.
Right, and thank you, Tym Moss. Right, and we also raised hell. And this week is a very big week for the Imperial Court of New York. Saturday is our night of 1,000 gowns, and I will of course be there because I have a fabulous gown, and I am going with my amazing friend Rollerina, who I know will also be fabulous too, and our dear friend Kobe Cole, who you've heard Kobe sing. He is going to be one of the performers there. So listen, you know what? You just have to keep going on. That's what you have to do.
Right.
And that's what Alan would have wanted me to do.
Yes, but I'm very impressed with you. You are a true warrior. You just keep pushing forward as Wendy always does.
But don't we always tell everybody on this show, like we keep it real, and it's about keeping it positive, right? And with everything going on, you know, our amazing friend Reverend Yolanda,
I was just gonna say,
lost her partner Glenn,
Reverend Glenn Ganaway, passed this week also, and again, you know, we're getting hit. But you know what? You gotta hit back, and the best way to do it is to keep that whole positive vibe just really going and support your friends. It's been an unusual week because after last week's show, I stopped by the hospital to see Alan, to see her husband, and then I had to go to Harlem to Awake to see one of my neighbors of 41 years had passed away. She had been my neighbor. She's just always been there since I've lived here in New York, and it's been a very odd week, a very heavy week,
to say the absolute least.
But also I just want to say, as far as Alan goes,
thank you.
He was just always here, always had a smile. He was always so supportive. Every show I did that he was there, he was always taking pictures, he was videotaping. He would always tell me if he had any suggestions for me to consider to improve, and it was always right. He was just
huge supporter of the arts, an amazing artist himself. We will be having a memorial here at Pangea. Stay in touch with me. And I will also be producing a large art show for him. I'm looking for a space so you can come and see his artwork, and the artwork will be for sale, because you know what? That is what Alan would have wanted at the end of the day, you know. And Tim, you have been absolutely amazing. Tim bought Alan. You bought a beautiful plant that ended up.
Well, that was Ike and I.
The nurse, you and I, Ike Avelli, another amazing friend. Of course, the nurse, and it ended up at the nurse's station, never to be seen again. And don't even get me started on the hospital. Not only did I get put through such personal, emotional anguish, the hospital things started to go so crazy, I've turned it into a comedy routine, which I'm thinking maybe that will be my show at Pangea, right? About our
healthcare in America.
Healthcare in America, ladies and gentlemen, look out. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. Our guest today. Was there some more? Zone of Interest. You saw Zone of Interest.
I did see the film Zone of Interest. I had wanted to see it. What was our guest who was on here who was talking about it? It was one of our guests. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to see it. Anyway, incredible, beautifully done film by, it's Howard Glazer, I think, who did it. Jonathan Glazer. But really incredible film. Playing at the Angelica. I'm still hoping it's there. If you're in New York, see it. If you're in LA, see it. But definitely very, very important film. Incredibly shot. The performances are absolutely blow away, and won the best foreign film at the Academy Awards. What more could you ask for? Okay, our guest. Okay, so we totally love our guest. All right, our guest is unstoppable. All right,
that's right.
A career that has spanned decades. A comedian, actress, singer, jazz musician, and was the first openly gay comic on a TV series, Ground Roads, right? Played countless roles on TV and theater and television. And this person from Orange is the New Black, but she's got an amazing show coming up, and she's going to tell us about it. And it's for Easter. It's so cute. You could be on an Easter egg hunt, or you could come to her show. You could come see Lea DeLaria.
Hi. I don't even know how to follow that. A little warning might have been nice.
But we wanted to talk about
sorry for your loss, and
you know what?
I don't want to gloss over that. It seems it's something that shouldn't be glossed over.
Thank you, Lea.
And yeah, that I feel.
And thank you for being that real. You know what? We all in our lives go down this path, right? And what we do on this show, it is about being real. I mean, you're a comedian, right? Comedy comes from often the tragedies in our lives, right? And
I think any good comic, that's where it comes from. The kind of hacks that talk about, losing their socks in the dryer and airplane food. No. And also, I just want to say I was the first openly gay comic on television in America in terms of performing as a stand-up comic on a talk show.
Right.
I was the first one to do that. Not on like a sitcom or whatever.
And that was the Arsenio Hall show.
That was the Arsenio Hall show, March 19th in 1993.
Wow. Groundbreaker.
Yes,
Thank you.
So it's like my 31st anniversary or something this week. So
Well, happy anniversary, Lea.
Thanks.
Happy lesbian anniversary.
I like that.
Yeah.
So your show, first of all, that you're doing at Joe's Pub, it's really fun to me. You're doing an Easter show.
Yeah.
I don't even tell us about some of the themes that you can tell us about.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody does a Christmas show. There's so many damn Christmas shows. I mean, starting at about Thanksgiving, throw a rock, hit a fucking Christmas show. So it was my idea last year at my club in Provincetown to do an Easter show. Why not? So normally every year, it just seemed like a fun thing to do. I knew that Easter, especially if it's nice outside,
right,
can be a very big week in Provincetown, and luckily it was. And there's so many different ways to go at it. So I wrote this crazy little show to do in Provincetown, and then I just kind of had it in my hip pocket, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So then I always do a Valentine's Day show called Fuck Love at Joe's Pub every year, for the past like 5 years. Whatever Valentine's Day is, I'm there doing a show. So this year I couldn't because I was doing Night of the Iguana. So we suggested to Joe's Pub, Leah's got this Easter show. So
there you go.
Went, sure, why not? Let's go for it. So
and
I'll
tell
be
us
there
the
with
name.
my crazy Easter show.
Tell us the name of your show. I love it.
I can see your house from here, which is a very Lea Easter.
Right. I love the title.
Well, the title is based on, obviously, I think you guys know, a very old joke. And that's what the title is based on. So, and I'm hope if people don't know that at the show, I'll probably end up telling the joke.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's so funny because I do know what you're referencing, but I also thought Sarah Palin, I can see Russia from here. Lea DeLaria, I can see your house from here.
When I'm a stand-up, right? So I was a stand-up when she said that, and when she said I can see Russia from my house, I went off on I can see your house from here. That was sure. It was the obvious joke to go to.
I mean, to tell you something I found out was funny though. I went up to Alaska this year. And believe it or not, like the joke was on me because I thought it was hilarious that Sarah Palin was making that up. You could. They're part of Alaska where she is. I don't know, hell in the woods.
I shot Further Tales of the City there in Sitka, where you can see Alaska, where you can see Russia.
You can see Russia. It turned out to be true, but I was like, oh my God, Sarah
not
Palin.
from her house.
No, it wasn't
not from her house.
Right. I can see
not where she fucking lives. No, idiot.
You can only see woods.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Lea, I followed your career, but you know what? I have no idea how you got into this industry, what your story is.
Yeah, like where did you grow up and how did you?
Oh, okay. Well, let me just say one more thing about the Easter show, if you don't mind. I just want to say, for those of you who have never seen me live, fuck you. And be sure to come. It's a very standard Lea DeLaria show. I think the difference between this show and a lot of my other shows is I have a section that's a Broadway section. So a lot of the queens in New York love when I sing Broadway, and I do it when I get paid to do a Broadway show. But when I'm doing my show, I do stuff off of my jazz records. So there's a Broadway section. There's crazy comedy. There's, insanity. You're going to hear me singing stuff you've never heard me sing before, which is really fun. And it's all Easter themed and Easter related. I'm even giving shit away. So
she's giving shit away. Okay,
now, did you take like songs and change the words to them, or
no, I hate parody. So this is. Period. I can't stand parody. I very rarely do it.
Okay,
I did it once years ago with The Sound of Music, where because there was a lot of talk about safe sex with lesbians, which drove me crazy because if God's if gay men were cursed by God, then lesbians were God's chosen people, honey, because you cannot.
Yes.
We cannot transmit sexually STDs to each other. We can't. I mean, it's like, yes, we can, but it's virtually impossible. It's very, very fucking difficult. So when there was all this bullshit about lesbian safe sex, I did Doe a Deer. I did, that. But I was like, let me start in the very beginning. What was it? The first dykes I screwed were Joe Maylee. My very first tricks just happened to be Joe Maylee, Joe, a queer, a financier. Yeah, like that.
Yes.
Nay, a 2-5 ever sure. Lee, Lee, a really hot stripper, raw, a softball team on tour, like that. So that's really the only time I've ever done parody. I'm not a big parody person. Yeah. So these are like, I'm doing songs off of my record. I'm doing Here Comes Peter Cottontail, to open the show. I loathe to tell you, but let's just say that I'm going to do what I call the showstopper of the Seder. Dianu is the big closer for this show.
Dianu, you're closing with Dianu.
Oh, well, wait till you see it. Wait till you see what I do with Dianu. So it's it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. So everybody, I know Easter's a family day. Some people don't have their family around them. And, I'm saying the same thing about Passover. People always forget that Passover is also a holiday at this time because, people are, it's fucking New York. We know. But in other places, they want to just gloss over the Passover thing as they watch the 10 Commandments, which is literally what the Passover is about.
Right. That's
So
so
I'm
Passover
like,
has nothing to do with that. But I love that you're doing a Dayenu song. That's like,
oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. So that's it. So I just wanted to say, come to the show.
No,
Lots of
what are
fun,
the dates?
lots of laughs,
March
lots of
31st.
drinks.
And
March
that's
31st. Easter
Two
Sunday.
shows. Wait, you're doing 2 shows
7 and
though.
9:30?
On Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an early show that's like 6:30 and the late show, as they call late, 8:30. You know, again,
Okay.
I'm from the world of stand-up comedy and jazz. To me, the late show's at 1 in the morning.
Late is 2
So-
o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Luckily,
plan
I don't
on-
have to do that anymore. If I show up at an open mic as a stand-up, I get to cut the line. You know. But I'm sure you guys know the old days before they know who you are. You're there until 4 in the morning, waiting to get on stage.
Yeah,
that is exactly right.
Well, now you kind of glossed over also, you said your club in Provincetown?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You have a club.
I have a nightclub in Provincetown. Yes,
Yeah,
I
I
do.
guess I
yeah.
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it's currently closed,
Uh-huh.
but most people know about it.
Leah, will it be open this summer? I had friends actually ask Leah about her nightclub.
Thank you that your friends asked me about my nightclub. I have to say, I don't know what's happening with the club at the moment. There's a couple things going on, so I'm not at liberty to discuss any of it.
Right.
So that's why I had to kind of gloss it over.
But we just need to go back, who are you and where are you from?
Rewind.
Rewind.
Right.
Who are you? Where are you from?
Where did you grow up and what was
So let's go back to the beginning. Sure. Very good place to begin.
It's the beginning. We
Just
found that.
little callback.
Joe Amy.
Yeah, there it is. I grew up in a little town called Belleville, Illinois, which is east of St. Louis across the Mississippi River.
Okay.
And I grew up with parents. My mother was a dancer. My father was a jazz pianist.
Oh,
so
artistic.
yeah, they met each other in the USO of all places.
Wow.
My dad was a piano player with the Army Air Corps band, and my mother was a dancer. So that's how they met.
That's so cool.
And so that's the first thing that I ever did was sing.
Wow.
In performance with my father. When I was a kid, he would take me to
cool.
nightclubs with him, and I would sit in with his trio, his quartet, his quintet, whatever he was playing with, at the different nightclubs in St. Louis and East St. Louis. So I did that. I did that when I was a young kid. I started when I was like 8 years old.
So you could already sing. You were born with voice.
And you were already
yeah.
performing in front of people in clubs and
loved it. I loved it when I was a child. I would, I'd perform at parties. I'd, get all the grown-ups' attention. I would do. That was something that was inherently in me. So I'm just one of those people that I'm very lucky because this is the only thing I've ever wanted to do, and this is the only job I've ever had.
Yeah,
that's great.
How incredible. Now, when you were growing up in Illinois, small town, you were obviously had a sense of humor that wasn't like anyone else's. I have to believe it even then. What was that like for you?
That was a class clown. And I learned it. I've talked about it often. I think mostly from going to Catholic schools because I learned very, very young that if I could make the nuns laugh, they weren't going to hit me with that fucking ruler. So I learned. I made the nuns laugh. So that's how I came around to it. And when I was in high school,
wow.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I got involved in theater and drama and in band and in chorus and, all that kind of stuff. And every year I ran for president because you got to give a speech to your class. And it was always a joke. It was like Pat Paulson. I was running for president, but I didn't know.
Oh my God, I love Pat Paulson. I can't believe you're talking about Pat Paulson.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of people who don't know who Pat Paulson is. So
I'm 65 years old. I'll be 66 in a month. So I know
yeah.
exactly who Pat Paulson is.
Right, me too.
And I took my inspiration from Pat Paulson and I ran for president of my class because I got to give like a 5-minute speech that was always just an excuse for me to be funny.
Right. So
all it ever was.
from the get-go, it's all about being funny. It's interesting that
you figured out
your thing.
You figured out a way to get a captive audience.
Right.
Yeah. And then, I also took my inspiration from people like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra and Judy Garland and Sammy Davis Jr. and, those guys and Liza and, those people that not only were they were great singers, because I always wanted to be a singer. I mean, it's really a big part of who I am, but they were really funny as well. And you had to do everything. Now, the one, I cannot dance. I'm the worst dancer on the planet. It takes me forever to get choreography. Whenever I'm in a musical, I usually get it. And I always have to start the first day I'm learning choreography by saying to the choreographer, no one will ever know how long it took me to get this.
No, but your brain
but rest assured, the first time we do it in front of an audience, I will have these steps.
Right. She will rise to the occasion because the audience is there. The audience. So,
I also will work really fucking hard. I'll work with the choreographer's assistant. Like when we did POTUS 2 years ago on Broadway, of course, Susan Stroman is directing it. So our encore was, and the whole cast was musical theater people, even though it was a musical, except for maybe two people.
Right.
So, she put together this smash up of great music that we had to dance to and using these feminist power poses. And when we were all learning it, I mean, it was just me making joke after joke after joke. It was like, oh, wait, my foot's supposed to be flexed. Who fucking knew? Stuff like that. And Vanessa Williams going, Leah, you're in your own head. You're in your own head. And I went, Vanessa, I'm in my body. So I know how bad I am at choreography. And she would just laugh and laugh. So yeah. So I'm not that big of a dancer, but I try to be a great singer, a great actor, a great stand-up. That's all a big part of what I bring to the table when I come to the table.
Yeah.
Right, but you've been doing quite well at that table because you work all the time. Yeah. I mean, I looked at, at your resume, it's like teeny tiny. I need a magnifying glass to see like every single thing you've done. What is your secret to your consistency besides the fact that you're incredibly talented? What do you think sets you apart, that keeps you working all the time?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to say it's the fact that I can do a lot of things, honey, because when you look like me and you talk like me and you gave out a fucks to give when Sonny was with Cher, you better be able to do a lot of things or you're not working. It's really that simple. And also, I include myself as one of the people who have done this. The world has changed in perception a bit about, especially butches. And so they are now looking to, like, I'm doing 2 movies, both of which were just offered to me that I didn't have to audition for. 2 good, nice movies with nice names attached to them.
Wonderful.
And both of them are like, I'm playing an old school butch character. It's taken a minute for us to get here, and it still doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
I'm just going to say that. It still doesn't happen all the time. Every other letter in the alphabet, if you cast a non-trans person in the trans world, in a trans role, they're going to go ballistic. And you cast a non-gay man in a gay role, they're going to go ballistic.
Right.
They still don't quite have the L's back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can name several things that just came out recently with lesbians that are played by straight women, but it is better.
Yeah.
And that is helping me, because when you think Butch Dyke, you pretty much automatically think me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Hollywood was, especially after the Arsenio Hall show.
Right.
Can you tell everybody about that experience, about what had happened and why
it was pretty interesting. I had one thing that happened that was very exciting for me was Arsenio came to my dressing room before we went on, which they never do. The talk show host, they just don't do it because they want you on the couch. They want to talk to you. They don't want to do anything. But he came to my dressing room to tell me how excited he was that I was on his show. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
That I could have gone to the other shows, but I wanted to go to his show.
Right.
at the time, it was the #1 late night talk show in America.
Right,
It was
right.
it was creaming Letterman. It was creaming The Tonight Show. Of course, I was going to do Arsenio. Also, the politics of the show and what that show was about, just it fits me. Do you know what I mean? So that was really exciting. And then it got out in the community that it was going to happen, mostly through the publicity of the Arsenio show. So they had like Leah watching parties at gay bars all over America, LA and New York and stuff like that. And a lot of queer people came, you know, to the show itself. They were in the audience because they knew I was going to be there. So they waited online and they got into the Arsenio Hall show. And, you know, of course, there's always the possibility that you could bomb. I was nervous. You only get 4.5 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, which is absolutely nothing. Let me ask you, because you brought that up about bombing. Like, what has been? Have you had an experience where you just wanted to get off the stage?
No. You're gonna laugh. No. I've been very lucky in that. And also I know I have other friends that just go, oh, fuck this.
Right. I've seen it.
Mic drop. I'm off the stage. Screw this audience.
Yeah, that was the question.
I'm an animal. And if I will not leave that stage until I make you laugh. I will win you over. And again, if you look like me, I had this great, I did the Just for Laughs in 93, excuse me, after I did Arsenio. Boom, did Just for Laughs. And they were doing this thing that called Comedy in the Danger Zone. So of course I was in the danger zone. But, and it was all my peers at the time. It was Dave Chappelle and Janine Garofalo and Dave Cross and, you know, all these people. Kevin Pollak was the host. And he came back, before we were going on, I'm in the dressing room. We're all sharing a dressing room. And he looks at me and he goes, you know, it's very interesting what you do, because you have basically 40 seconds to change the audience's mind.
Wow.
Before, like, he knew. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, that's kind of it. So I always started out big. When I did Arsenio, I walked out on stage. I said, hey, everybody, my name's Lea DeLaria. It's the 1990s. It's hip to be queer, and I'm a big dyke.
Yes.
And that was it. You won them over.
Oh my God. I had great jokes. I mean, what was one of the jokes? Oh, I out myself. I have gay Tourette syndrome. So I out myself uncontrollably. I go to the butcher and I go, I have a quarter pound of hamburger, right? So it was all great stuff. And the other thing that was really cool about it was I did that. I did the couch for 5 minutes. I did great on the couch as well. And the Advocate, which was the big queer paper at the time. The Advocate said I was on the air for 9.5 minutes. And I said the words dyke, fag, or queer 47 times.
Love it.
I love you.
So I didn't just open that closet door. I sledgehammered it over.
That's right.
I took a blowtorch to it, you know. It was great.
Well, I was one of those people that associated you, or again, I didn't realize your diversity of talent. I didn't either. And I knew you as a comedian. I knew you as an actress in television and film and theater. But when the first time that I interviewed you, you had me come to Smoke on the Upper West Side. Not to smoke. The name of the club was Smoke. To come to Smoke, and I interviewed you between sets. Watching you perform sing jazz blew me away. And I don't think a lot of people realize just how good of a singer you were.
Yeah, really great singer.
Yeah. Well, I became well known doing On the Town here, you know, in New York City. And the song that I sang that they honored Jesse Tyler Ferguson about 2 weeks ago. I did I Can Cook Too, because that's what, you know, Jesse and I did together. And Patti LuPone leapt to her feet at the end. And then
that's a good thing.
And then she and Mary Testa came up to me afterwards and said, you know, you just own that song. There's like, you know, this is your song until the day you die. basically. So that was kind of nice. But in that song, I did scat sing, and it's one of the. I think that one of the reasons that the jazz world started to notice me. John Hendricks came to see me do it. Nanny Ross came to see me do it. And, it was, so they were like, wait, you're a scat singer? And I went 100%. In fact, John and Annie called me up on stage at the Blue Note, and I sang Cloudburst with them.
Oh,
wow.
Because they had heard, I don't know who they heard from, but they heard from someone that I knew Cloudburst, because at the time I was doing it in my show. So I got pulled up on stage and sang the lead in Cloudburst with John Hendricks and Annie Ross. Forget about it. Forget about it. I mean, when John showed up at the show, let me just put it this way. It was like every time the show would end, my manager would be at the door, and I was like, who's here now? All the living presidents? I mean, it was just like Elaine Stritch was, coming in. Just Audrey McDonald. I just name them. And they were, huge Broadway star. Faith Prince. Everybody just coming backstage to say hi to me.
Wow.
It was kind of insane. But the one day he comes and he goes, I'm not even going to tell you who it is. And and then the door opened and in walked John Hendricks, and I fucking plotzed. I totally died.
You couldn't freaking believe it. Wow.
Totally died. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, again, to show all the viewers about your singing, why don't we've got a clip. And
We've got a clip.
To show a little bit of that.
There were a lot of clips. So we've got a clip. There's
tons of clips. Good luck.
So Lea DeLaria.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's dance. Put on your red shoes, dance the blues. Let's dance to the song they're playing on the radio. Whoa, well, let's sway while the colors light up your face. Let's sway, sway through the crowd to an empty space. If you say run, I will run to you. If you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms, tremble like a flower. Let's dance, let's dance, let's dance, let's dance. For fear your grace should fall. Let's dance for fear tonight is all. Let's sway, you should look into my eyes. Let's sway under the moonlight, there's serious moonlight. If you say run, I will run to you. If you say to hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms, tremble like a flower.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
My God.
I don't even know where that was from.
I chose that one. There were so many on there, and I just went through listening. I like that. I love this song. I love your arrangement. I love the way you sound on it.
Just
so
right. The sound of
I hope you liked it too.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's off the House of David, DeLaria plus Bowie equals jazz. It's 12 jazz covers of David Bowie tunes.
Wow. How totally fabulous.
Streams on Spotify, all music streaming services. That's where you can get it. Yeah.
Well, now our producer, Cameron Cole, he says, I would love to hear a bit about Edge of 17, one of the best early queer films.
A perennial favorite among gay gentlemen of a certain age.
Oh, there you go.
Is how I like to put it. Just a very interesting little movie, Edge of 17. that came my way. It was after I did On the Town in the Park. And I got these crazy reviews from everywhere, just insane reviews. And a guy showed up at the place where the Public Theater was housing me. At the time, they had a place in the Zeckendorf Towers. So if you were in town, I didn't live in New York. I lived in LA at the time. So I was being housed by the Public Theater. Showed up at my front doorstep and dropped a script off. So I came out. It was like, how he knew where I lived or any of it, crazy. But the script got dropped off. I read the script and just went, I love this script. I cannot wait to play Angie, without a doubt. So, that was Edge of 17. It takes place in the 80s, and it's a gay coming out story in the 80s. And I'm sort of like the fairy godmother of a young gay boy in high school who is coming to his own. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Love it. Wonderful.
And at the end of that movie, I said Blue Skies.
Nice.
Yeah, on stage.
Right. Perfect. Absolutely.
Now,
perfect.
Rocky Horror Show, Broadway.
Yeah.
You played Eddie and Dr. Scott. Tell us
I
about
did.
Both roles.
Tell us about this.
It was fun. I mean, at the time, I always wanted to play Eddie, and I thought no one's ever going to let me do it. And then they were casting it on Broadway, and I got my agent at the time, David Klodner, called me up, and he goes, you know how you've always wanted to play Eddie and no one will let you do it? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, well, I think Chris Ashley might, because Chris just let me play Mary and Sam. Had just let me play Mary and Sam in Lil Abner at the Encores.
Oh my God.
So I was like, you know what? Chris may actually let me do it. And I had to audition. It was, it's a Broadway show.
Right.
I had to audition, but I went in and the caveat, I knew I could kill Eddie, no problem. It's a song. You're done.
Opportunity, bless my soul.
Yeah. I mean, I did it grittier than it was very gritty the way I did it. It was very, like heavy metalish in its sound. If you hear me, you'll hear that if you hear the recording. But also the one that was gonna, I think, turn the tide for me was Dr. Scott. So I came in with a thing where Dr. Scott's right hand was actually wooden, like fake. And so I would do, things with my hand that were choreographed. That people, so that I had a leather glove on, and I did actually, when I did the audition, I was smoking a cigarette and I put it out in my hand because I had that. But they were like, you can't smoke a real cigarette on stage, and I was like, well, I'm not going to smoke one of those clove pieces of shit. I can tell you that. Now we have options, but in POTUS I had to smoke all the time. But you have a thing now that they fill with talcum powder.
Ew.
And instead of sucking, you blow it and smoke comes out and it looks like a real cigarette. Yeah. But I did once or twice make the mistake of sucking the cigarette. Inhaling. Talcum powder goes, like, I'm going to get throat cancer. I'm going to get throat cancer.
And then try to sing after that inhale.
Yeah, really.
Horrifying. So,
Leah, you're also, a lot of people don't know, you're an author as well. You have a book called Leah's Book of Rules. I would love to know. You're the most unruly person.
They're just stupid rules.
They're stupid rules.
Never point at anything beige and call it cool. These are the stupid rules like that. I mean, this book, I wrote that book back in 98, 99.
Yeah.
And literally it was just, a way to make money, a way to make people laugh.
It was comedic, right.
Since then I've written a lot more, like, jokes for television shows and movies and podcasts and, things like that.
Right.
So a little bit more. And I am working on a memoir.
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah, that I would love to read your memoir. Your energy's amazing, and it continues to cross over all aspects of the entertainment industry. There's not a lot of people that can do that. Let's face it.
And you've also had an amazing journey.
Yeah, the journey's been incredible.
Oh, the journey's crazy.
Yeah, the journey's crazy.
I had a journey like no other actor.
That's why you need to do your memoirs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's crazy. And, and I say to people, for me, it was a long climb to the middle is what I always said. And I've been moderately famous my whole life. Nothing prepared me for Orange, or anyone else involved with Orange.
To
this day, even though we stopped filming Orange years ago, but it still streams and is still incredibly popular on Netflix. I can't go anywhere.
So you're still identified
wanting to get a picture. Yeah.
You're identified with, but tell us now about Orange is the New Black and how that changed your trajectory, or what
it was. Again, remember that Orange was the thing I think that made the difference for Butch Dykes in the way it made the difference for trans people, because we were portrayed as real humans. Up until me in Orange, any Butch character you saw was stupid, truck driver, beating up her girlfriend.
It was a stereotype.
It was a stereotype. So not only was Boo smart, she was the fucking smartest person in that prison. And if you ask anybody that's on that show, they'll go, Boo, smartest person in the prison. That, which really went against that. And they also got to see that there's a sexiness to it. That is never portrayed in any other. It was never before had been portrayed. Boo had a lot of girlfriends. She was everybody's boo. You know what I mean? And so that was all equally a really lovely part of it. And also, they really look, when you're like standing toe to toe with Kate Mulgrew and you're doing a dramatic scene, you better fucking bring it, bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they didn't just write specifically for my talents, which they did do. They wrote the part for me. They knew that I was going to be doing it. So they came to the table with stuff that they knew Lea DeLaria would kill. But they also asked me to really, really act. And I think that's made a difference in the type of stuff. Like, I don't think I would have gotten Night of the Iguana if it wasn't for Orange is the New Black. I really don't think so. So people saw me in a whole new light. So since then, I've been able to do a lot of really interesting, acting portrayals. I wouldn't have gotten the show Reprisal that I do on Hulu, where I do amazing things in Reprisal, and it's all, again, it comes from that. So look, I went from being someone that, again, moderately famous, everybody in the queer world knew who I was pretty much, but to being known by fucking everyone. I mean, it was over 210 million people in 190 countries watch that show.
Wow.
So literally, I went to Brazil because I was doing their Sao Paulo. I was doing the Gay Pride. I was for Netflix, so I was like being the Gay Pride ambassador for Netflix. I got off the plane, and there were girls with signs.
Oh my God!
I was like, "What the? I'm a Jonas brother. I'm a fucking Jonas brother. How did this happen? Crazy." And it's nuts. I have like well over 1 million followers on Instagram, and they're all young women between the ages of 18 and 24. 90% of them, 84% of them, and the other 14 are fags over 40 that live in New York.
I'm one of those fags over 40.
Hilarious. I know. It just makes me laugh.
That's fucking
the yin and yang, people. It's the yin and yang.
Lea, you've talked a lot about where you've been in your career, and you have a huge following, right?
Yeah.
How do you think someone like you, and we need someone like you to affect what's going to happen with the next election? You talk about.
Well, I talk politics all the time. So
right,
that,
I love this quote: "The time to go high is over when it comes to fighting Donald Trump."
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Right,
yeah.
fuck that.
When he goes low, I go lower. You know what I mean? And I never agreed to when they go high, when they go low, we go high. I never agreed to it. I never thought it would work.
Right.
They don't give a fuck.
Because he doesn't fight.
But we're comics, so we know. Consider your fucking audience. So yeah, they don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah.
So no. That's why I did fuck Trump Fridays while he was president. And then once Biden got elected, I figured it was all over. And, you know, like everybody in America, I think we're agog by what's happening to the GOP.
Right.
And I kept hoping that the GOP would just split into two parties. You know, the regular Republicans and then the MAGA assholes.
Right.
Yeah.
But apparently the regular Republicans have no balls, and they won't stand up to this traitor who should be imprisoned.
Absolutely.
Not just for that.
Right.
He murdered millions of Americans during COVID by his refusal to tell people to get vaccinated. He is responsible for the death of every American who died of COVID.
I agree with
every one of them. So I'm just like, but it's, you know what? What's the expression? The chickens are coming home to roost. The chickens are coming home to roost. He's like, I'm the richest guy in the world. Can't pay his bond.
Right.
You know, he won't get anybody to lend him money because he doesn't pay his bills. People, he doesn't pay his bills.
Which is the sign of a bad businessman.
Yeah. So the only people that are going to come to his aid are China and Russia. They're the ones that'll probably back up his fucking bond. And that's why he's suddenly, I'm against this TikTok thing, because China's giving him fucking money, and they should look at that. Instead of looking at Hunter Biden and Joe Biden.
But you know they won't. They're not going to look at that. But you know what? You can say it. You're a big voice out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I fully intend to. I want to get I want to get this Easter show up, and then it's going to start with me. I was kind of staying away from some of the fray for a minute because I needed to see how things were going.
Yeah, how they were playing out.
I mean, like, I was the one that when they had all the pictures in Atlanta, I don't know if you saw my Instagram, but I put the picture up of all of them together. And then I put the Brady Bunch theme song behind it because they were all, but when I do something like that, I only do the kids pop version. So it was the kids pop version of the Brady Bunch theme song, which is very funny. But you know, normally I was staying away from it a little bit, but I think now is the time to really go to town.
Yeah, now is the time to go to town, and you have the voice. You do have the influence out there.
Yeah,
you can do
it.
Know,
the thing is, the people that listen to me are not going to vote for Trump. You know what I mean? It's like I've always thought about I should buy a piece of land, a tiny little piece of land, and a P.O. box in South Carolina, and then say I'm a resident of South Carolina and vote there,
right?
Because New York's not gonna vote for Trump. We know that. New York won't, but it would be great. I'm trying to get a bunch of people. It's like, why don't we just buy tiny pieces of land?
Just right.
And a P.O. box.
It's quite a
and
campaign.
Vote in Texas or South Carolina. You know, use their own bullshit against them. They can't hand out water online when they're voting.
No, I know.
They can't. This shit is ridiculous. You know,
they can't seem to win legitimately, so they have to cheat. And make up
they have to cheat. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, whatever he says is what he's doing.
Yes, exactly.
Whatever he accuses us of is literally what he's doing.
Yep.
Yeah, we're election interference.
Yes.
Not him calling the attorney general saying, find me 11,000 votes. What?
Yeah.
And I love in the Supreme Court when the court was like, I've never seen anything like this applied to a president before. I've never seen a president do what he did. That doesn't make it a non-starter. Show me the president that's done what that asshole's done. Let's talk about injecting ourselves with bleach for a second.
I prefer ivermectin. I've used it on my rabbits. It's great. Cows, rabbits, horses.
Why don't you tell people to inject themselves with opioids? They might actually live. But if they inject themselves in bleach,
hilarious.
You know, are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, it's too late. And as soon as I get this Easter show up, immediately after that first Friday, fuck Trump Friday is back.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. I went after a lot of people in the last election. Let's just say I've got a mouth when it comes to social media.
You have a mouth? Are you kidding me? What is like?
People are always like, "Why do you answer these people?" I said, "It's hilarious. I love to poke the conservatives. It makes me so happy." They're like, you know, because all they've got is you're an ugly fat dyke. That's all they got.
Because
you're an ugly fat dyke. That's all they got.
Their skin is so thin, it doesn't take much poking.
And we're the snowflakes, right?
Yeah,
we're the snowflakes. So yeah, no, I love to go at them. It makes me so happy.
Well, you're going to get the opportunity.
Well, once again, you just mentioned your show, so remind everybody that's at Joe's Pub on March 31st. Is it
Easter Sunday? March
31st. 2 shows,
6:30 and 8:30.
Go to that website, get yourself some tickets. We're going to have some fun.
Definitely going. I have to tell you, that is the most painful website in the world, because many of us who work off of our phones, you're looking at the little dot and trying to figure out where you are related. It is painful, but for you, definitely I'll do it.
Go for it. I think you might be able to. There's a link on my Instagram. If you go to my post, the most recent post about the show, it's very easy to find. It's a picture of me as Jesus.
When you're running as Jesus, right?
Yeah. So the link's in the bio, so you can. That might be a little easier for you.
Okay.
But it's not the worst website. I think American Airlines or Amtrak wins that contest.
Talk about that. Absolutely painful.
Painful.
Just easier to stay home than to be on that website.
Oh my God, just painful.
Painful.
But now you also kind of glossed over Night of Iguana.
Night of Iguana,
which we had went to see. And you were in. We had Austin Pendleton on our show a couple weeks prior to that. So it was wonderful seeing the two of you in this show.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, Austin and I have become, I think, very good friends.
I can imagine.
I've always been a huge fan.
Yeah.
I loved his playbill bio. It says Austin Pendleton has been in over 400 films. He doesn't even
it doesn't name any.
He's just been in over 400 films. Where do you start? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I loved that he did that. And he would make his entrance in the show as I was making my exit. So it just became a part of his track as he was being wheeled out on stage to turn to me and just say something hilarious. And he did it every night. He did it every show, and he never said the same thing twice.
Oh my God.
I would just walk off stage. I'm sitting right there.
Right.
Because I was stuck on the way backstage. So I'm like, yes, I can't laugh. And then he would just go like this and be reeled off. It was just hilarious. So it was crazy good. And I've always actually wanted to play this character. If you know the play, it's a great part for me to play.
It's a great cast,
But see, usually they don't cast someone like me in that role. They don't play it real. They don't play as the character. Shannon's character refers to her as a diesel and a butch and a dyke. They play that as him being mean to this woman. They don't play that she really is that. That's why, most recently the person that played was Elizabeth Ashley. So let's just start there. So it's that kind of role. So enter, Emily, the director, and she just went, Emily Mann, sorry, I should say the last name. That's why she did everything very different in this production. It was a very unique and unusual production of this play.
It was wonderful.
And I was part of that uniqueness. The fact that they actually did play the part as a dyke, a real one. And I'm not from 1940s. I looked like a dyke in the 1940s. Exactly. I looked the way they all looked. And was very interesting. The fact that they played actual German actors playing the Nazis, that they had actual, brown guys playing the Cabana Boys, and Hank could be either, and they chose because it was Mexico and it was a Mexican tour guide to use, Iliud, who is Mexican, by the way. And so they had all this Spanish speaking going on, especially with Daphne Rubin Vega, who never have they played Maxine with a brown person. So she went a lot of crazy ways with it, but it really fucking worked, I thought.
It's very cool though to hear the whole background of it. It was for me very engaging. I did traditional casting. I had no interest in that play. I only came because we had Austin on the show and I adore him. And then I heard you were in it and Daphne. And I got to tell you, Tim and it was so great. And I love the way they did the stage. That everything happened on on one air. It was a perfect piece.
And also that was the first time I've ever seen you in a dress.
You didn't see me in On the Town?
No, I didn't.
Oh, honey, trust me, I wore a dress On the Town. I wore a frilly magenta number that I danced.
Oh, frilly and magenta.
Had petticoats. Oh yeah, it was fabulous. And no. I've actually worn a dress. I was in Maine with Andrea McCardle.
Oh my God.
And I had as Vera. I wore a couple of dresses as Vera.
Oh, you would have been a fun Vera, definitely.
Yeah, it wasn't until the last entrance where they're fucking with the people that Vera showed up in a suit. Looking like a guy, which was fun.
The people suit. It was a
fucking with the people suit.
Well, once again, our guest is Lea DeLaria, and her show, which is a very Lea Easter, will be at Joe's Pub on Easter Sunday, a 6:30 show and an 8:30 show.
Yep.
We have a lot of people that are.
We have a lot of comments on here, so we love reading the comments.
Also, I just want to say I'm starting to do brunch shows at 54 Below. I think I'm allowed to talk about it now. Second Sunday of every month starting in May. And I'm going to have a different guest with me every show. The first show is on Mother's Day, May 12th, and my guest is Tony winner Gabriel Ebert. In June, my guest is Alexis Michelle, a very fabulous drag performer. And then in July, I'm happy to say Janice Siegel, 9-time Grammy winner from the Manhattan Transfer, will be my guest. So those are the first 3 shows and the first 3 guests. So Easter show, brunch shows, different shows every month, different guests every month.
I love this.
Whatever's happening. Yeah.
Oh
I love this because we're all over drag brunches, right?
Yes.
There's so many drag brunches in New York. Thank you for offering people an amazing alternative.
Yeah. Well, so let's go to, we got questions, huh? Let's go.
Yes. We've got comments on here.
Claudia,
okay,
who is your friend from Germany.
Yeah, she's from Germany and she watches our show. People from all over. Hi, B. Claudia. Thank you.
Well, she says, dear Wendy, I send tons of love your way. You. I made time 1 hour early to be there with you.
She left work early so she could
watch. Guten Tag, Claudia.
Guten Tag, she says. Teresa Saban loves my earrings today. Thank you so much. They can be used on curtains as well. Okay, and big
well, these are the early ones I think before you signed on. Says Lori Towers of PR says love you both and sending hugs and love. Lynn Scarnell, lots of love from Lynn and Phil. You both
so much love. All right.
Okay, now
Joe
Jamie
Preston
Marie is applauding.
Yeah.
Joe Preston says hilarious.
Andrew Dorff, who's in Palm Springs. Hi, Andrew. Loved you in POTUS.
Love me in POTUS. Oh.
Yeah, POTUS. Right. Andrew loved you in POTUS.
Such a great part.
Palm Springs today.
Another part that was written for me. Just a great part.
Nice.
Yeah.
B. Claudia also says great conversation, very interesting.
And she saw Bowie. Yeah.
Can we please adore how fabulous is Lea DeLaria's header photo on her website? I am on the floor.
Okay. Absolutely.
Oh, plus she saw Say Bowie live. Listening to Lea DeLaria's jazz take on his music is epic.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Love House of David.
Leo Rodriguez. Love Lea DeLaria. She was my fave guest star on One Life to Live.
We didn't talk about One Life to Live at all.
We're dredging it all up here today.
Well, tell us about One Life to Live.
I was on it for about a decade, comic relief. I played Madame Delphina, who was a psychic. And they reached out to me to play this part because they wanted me to be funny. But you know how soap operas are made very quickly. Yeah. And a lot of times the writers don't get to have a conversation with the directors or whatever. And there was music and shit that they would play where they wanted me to be mysterious and stuff. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So
I love you.
I invented a thing where she talked to people. So she'd be talking to whoever, you know, was Robin Strasser. So I'd be talking with Robin, and I would go like, so basically what I think is going, huh? And I would go like that. Oh, okay. So they want me to tell you, yeah, like that.
Got a message.
I had people that would talk to me, and I was just in the middle of something. Go, what? Oh, yeah, got it. And then I turned back, and also she talked like this. You know, she was very, very New York, very New York. So, but he had her made up, very, you know, mysterious eye makeup, wig stuff, and I'd be like, who wants a bagel? So it was just, the juxtaposition was kind of amazing. But my favorite thing about One Life to Live was they did a very special season where they went back. It was the anniversary. It was 2006. So it was the 40th anniversary of One Life to Live. Which went on the air in 1966. So they did a thing where they, you know how soap operas are. I think somebody with a cell phone was next to an electric fence and they got sent back in time.
Yeah.
So I kid you not. Kid you not. So in 1966, we all kind of played other characters.
Oh my God, that's great.
So I got to play Professor Delphina. So I played my grandfather basically. So I played a male role and a female role on that show, which was really fun.
I love it.
And did a scene with myself, split screen.
Oh my God, that's great.
Camp.
Now, Nick Lyon, Nick Lyon, a good friend of ours, says, hi, everyone. Great show. Love Lea.
Yeah.
Sending you hugs, Wendy.
Sending you hugs. Thank you.
This is an interesting one.
Wait to hear this one. Next one.
Yeah. Stephen Artist says, Lea once applied for an apartment I was managing. I was ready to rent to her, but a man she was working for at the time gave her a bad recommendation. So my boss said no. I felt so bad. Later, I went to see her sing at the Fillmore. Wonderful.
Yay!
I know what this is.
Oh, yeah, what was the apartment? Huh?
Yeah, I was like fucking crazy when it happened. And it was my boss. Not a man who was working for me. I was working for him. Gave me a shitty recommendation. And it was like, I showed up for work on time. I did all my work. It was, infuriating.
Oh my God. But he loved you in Fillmore, at the Fillmore.
It's all good. It's all good. It turned out just fine for me.
There you go.
Go ahead.
B. Claudia from Confidence and Truth from Lea DeLaria. World can and should learn how to express what is necessary and has to be said. And yes, I agree. And my amazing friend, Krista Rampala. Hi, doll.
She's hilarious.
She's hilarious. Okay. And B. Claudia also, I do have House of David in my music library. Well, of course she does. She's great. And
our producer, Cameron Cole, says, oh, I almost forgot. Lea created the rather famous lesbian U-Haul joke. I wrote it. Would love to hear her thoughts on how famous it has become.
Can you do the lesbian U-Haul joke for people?
Of course. I know everybody knows it. What does a lesbian bring on a second date? A U-Haul.
U-Haul, right.
And I also wrote the companion joke. What does a gay man bring on a second date? What second date? And both of them, that lesbian U-Haul joke, just infamous. It's just everywhere.
Yes.
Most people know I wrote it. All queer comics know I wrote it. They all know it. The Wikipedia on the joke says that I wrote it.
Oh my God, that's great.
Yeah. And it is, it's just part of the generic, quilt of the queer community. Everybody knows this joke. I've seen this joke told on, I saw it on ER. I've seen that joke on so many fucking shows. Just hilarious. Yeah.
Well, now Gladiola Gladrag, who's a buddy of ours, she's a drag here in the city, says, thanks for having Lea DeLaria on your show. Rose Trentman, a good friend of ours, says hello there to everyone.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure the Arsenio Hall show probably opened up the doors for a lot of these, but I just wanted to give a quick list of just some of the historic television shows, in addition to One Life to Live, is Friends, Drew Carey Show, The First Wives Club, the film,
right?
Law and Order SVU, Jim Gaffigan Show, Aquafina is Nora from Queens.
Just that.
I mean, what?
The Blacklist, East New York. I mean, if it's, I work.
No, I mean, you not only work though, you're constantly getting booked, and you have an incredible range of roles. And there's not a lot of people that can say that, and certainly, and we know this in the LGBTQ community, not a lot of people that can say that. So you are opening doors for other people, and that's what it's at the end of the day.
And you've always been a trailblazer.
Yeah,
you're not afraid to knock on that door and kick that door in.
No, she'll kick it in.
Open it up for others to follow as well. So thank you for all your contributions.
Yeah, really.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate
it. I'll
it.
be there in my Easter bonnet with all the frills upon it to go see
I love it
on the Easter day.
But I just wanted to ask, I know these are going to be difficult for you, but like, what was your favorite Broadway role?
That's easy. That was POTUS, definitely. That's my the best one. My favorite that Bernadette was hilarious. So much fun. Much fun.
What was your favorite film role that you've done?
Film.
Well, we can come back.
I think I'm. This is going to be really weird.
It's okay. We are too.
I like weird.
I'm part of the Cars family, so I'm in Cars 3. Is that okay if we do a cartoon movie?
Fun.
I did a character called Ms. Fritter, who was queen of the demolition derby. She was a school bus,
right,
and she was crazy, and she's like, "I'm Ms. Fritter, and like that was her voice, and kids just fell in love with her. She was kind of a runaway hit from Cars 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and say. I'm going to say Ms. Fritter, Cars 3.
Well, now, how fun was that to shoot? Because you could go in, you don't have no makeup,
so much fun
costume. You just go in and create this character.
They were great, and they were like, they really use stuff from you on like when you see her face talking. They're using my face. The animators really did that, And they put there was a lightning bolt on the back of the bus because Lightning McQueen, but it was a rainbow. Which was very nice. And they had they used where I grew up, Belleville. They used my school district. I was a school bus from that school district, and they were really cool about stuff like that, So that was really fun. And I know the first time I fucked up, I was like, just talking like this, Fritter, and then I said I fucked something up, and fuck, like that. And the director went, be sure to look right at the animators when you do that, because they do outtakes. They do outtakes as the characters when you fuck up and when you do something stupid.
Oh so
that was really funny.
That was very funny.
That would be a great time. Now, and your favorite television role?
Oh, Boo.
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 It
that's what I figured.
Yeah, it would be Boo.
That's going to be Boo.
Well, once again, I want to thank you for all of your contributions.
Yeah, really.
To music, to just to American entertainment in general. You've been such a force that is long lasting, and we're grateful for that. We're very grateful for your representation over all these years.
Thank you, both of you. You can't be suckers.
Turning it out.
Yes, and we'll keep coming to see you. And once again, Joe's Pub, Easter 6:30 show and 8:30 show. Go see Lea DeLaria, very Lea Easter.
I
can see your house from. I can see your house from here. A very Lea Easter.
Oh, there we go. I can see your house.
Like now, I'm paranoid. I live on the 10th floor. Like, is Lea looking at me? Like I don't know. Am I gonna feel your eyes on me because you said you could see me? I feel vulnerable. Thank you so much, Lea. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, and we'll be back next week. Take care of yourselves and be kind.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.